Alrighty, time for another live stream. I thought I'd jump in on this little latest escapade of Wizards of the Coast because I've seen a lot of people talking about the AI artwork scandal in the Glory of the Giants book. And in case you haven't heard about this yet, which I doubt, Wizards of the Coast has released a book and it's got some artwork in it that is clearly either altered by or in some way involves AI art generation. Fairly obviously, for anybody who's got any sort of artistic eye, and for many people who don't, it's clearly got some AI art elements to it. Things that you look for, like a distorted foot or some weird facial features or, mutant hand features or wrists or things like that, wolf's paws, blobs with strange numbers of toes, that sort of thing. And Wizards of the Coast have come out and said, oh, well, we were unaware of this, and we're going to have stricter measures going forward in the future that, artists and stuff that we employ won't be including AI-generated art in our books. And this is, having been involved in making print products myself, and a little bit of art layout and stuff like that, there is no way in monkey's hell that you put out a book without many, many people looking at the artwork in some detail before it hits the shelves or gets published in mass. It gets checked over in fine detail many, many times by many, many people. And so that's a stretch of logic. So I'm going to give you another stretch of logic. I'm not, this is just an opinion, but here's my prediction for you about what Wizards of the Coast next action will be. They are going to apologize publicly for what is in the book. They will then alter the digital version of the book going forward. So everybody who buys this book, which is hosted on their website, D&D Beyond, will then have none of this artwork that is controversial in that book. The print products that have that artwork are now effectively obsolete as soon as they're published. This is the pattern that we saw exactly with the Spelljammer release, where they tried to get everybody to prepay it and buy this slim product. And I guarantee you this will probably be the pattern that we will see with the Planescape book that comes out. There will be something in there that is specifically aimed at being mildly controversial, that they will then be able to change the digital product and not be able to change the print product, unfortunately, because it's already out in the public. And the idea of doing a print recall and replacing all of the defective books like they did originally when they printed 5th edition very, very badly. Remember that? When they printed all those really bad books that fell apart on everybody, and it was so bad that they had to replace them. Well, they're not replacing books anymore. They're just replacing digital files. So why would they do this? And you only have to look at Wizards of the Coast's actions with Magic the Gathering, where they can't get rid of the physical products of the Magic the Gathering cards because the very idea of the game is that they're collectible rare cards that people trade, so they can't get rid of those. But what they can do is get more and more digital products sold. So with Magic the Gathering, what they've done is they've increased the amount of sets of cards they put out every year from about 5 when they started producing Magic the Gathering to now there's about 23 sets of cards that are released every year. This makes it extremely difficult if you're buying physical card products to keep up with the actual current gameplay, because there's more and more and more releases of cards coming out all the time. So it just becomes not feasible to buy that many cards, really. So it encourages you to spend more and more money on the digital platform with the digital products that don't cost them a dime to make. And if they can get away with putting AI artwork on their digital cards, oh, I guarantee you they will. Anyway, but that's a stretch. But with the print products of Dungeons and Dragons, it's not so big of a deal if they move the public sentiment away from trusting physical books, which are obsolete as soon as they're produced, are poor on content, are badly made, poor quality, and have a lack of trust amongst the people who are buying them so that they won't prepay for them. And yeah, where they're trying to drive people to buy the digital products only. And you see that their website is more aimed at selling digital products, but you're not actually getting a file that you download onto your computer and you own. They're still hosting those digital books on their website. So you're really just renting the ability to view them, and they can change that content at any time for any reason. So rather than it make me feel more trusting of digital content, I trust it far less than physical books that I actually own. So there's no way in hell going forward that I'm going to be buying or prepaying for access to a digital product which was the coast have taken away in the past. Where's all my 4th edition tools and resources? Where's my character builder? Where's my party group monster planner? Where's the digital tools that were around for 4th edition? Gone, no longer hosted. Where's all the Dragon magazines? Gone, no longer hosted. So why would you pay for something which they can take away at any time, which they can edit for any reason? So here's my prediction. The next thing that will happen is that the digital product for the giants, big B's, whatever, of giants, will be altered, and your books that you just bought will now be obsolete as soon as they're printed. So that's their plan moving forward. Why? Because it's so much more profitable to sell parts of books, page by page, or digital products that you can alter at any time or add to, make endless supplements, endless additions, endless new character classes, endless new feats, endless new whatever. The shiny new trinket of the week, which you pay your tokens for, your microtransactions to get access to, that they can take away at any time. So you'll see more and more and more IP for the next edition of Dungeons and Dragons, which won't really be Dungeons and Dragons anymore. It'll be a platform to sell Barbie, the role-playing game, G.I. Joe, Hasbro, whatever Hasbro's product of the week is. You'll see crossovers with all sorts of different IP that they've acquired. And that'll be the future of role-playing games as far as they're concerned. Happy as Larry. So, yeah, it'll be a video game, essentially. And it'll be microtransactions, exactly what Magic the Gathering's turned into. So they can't just outright get rid of books. So rather than them take away the production of books, they'll take away your desire to trust and buy books. That's their game plan. I could be wrong, but let's see what their next action is. And maybe I'm right. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Bit of a rant right from the get-go there. Yeah, the other option, the other thing, Tony, was there was an artist who produced some concept work. They've talked about this online already. They're very upset about it. I can understand why. So Wizards of the Coast have bought the concept art and then fed their concept art into an AI generator to finish it, and then put this monstrosity into their book without the artist's consent or say so or knowledge before it was actually published. So thankfully, I guess their name isn't on it, but still, what a dirty, shitty thing to do. So you can't say that wasn't deliberate on their part, can you? Can they really plausibly deny that? I don't think so. Let me just pop out the chat here, so I'm not looking off to the side all the time. How do I do that? I've forgotten how to do this. Oh, there it is. So it's a disturbing development, to say the least. Hey, Judy Bear. Hey, Gerald. Hey, Robo Monkey. Tony. Cohen is the man. Morning, everybody. Hey, Lysander. Green Scythe. Yeah, it has been a while. Trajan. I'm doing fine, thank you. KMG and all the other sexy goblins. Hello, everyone. Stephen. Yeah, it might be overestimating how many steps Wizard of the Coast will skip to make more money. I could be wrong. It could just be sheer base incompetence. I hope so. That's scary enough as it is. Neuro, how's it going? Catching a stream for the first time. Nice to see you, Neuro Lancer. Hey, Nick. Proud to say Wizard of the Coast is basically dead to me. Me too. I'm just commenting on this because it's. I'm just introducing a narrative here which a lot of people are not paying attention to. The broad game plan. Why would they do something like this? Why are they repeatedly doing this? Let me remind you about the Hadozi controversy with the Spelljammer books, where they basically introduced the idea that Hadozi were this chimp-like slave race that didn't exist in any of the pre-existing lore. They just shoved this in there out of left field for no reason. And apparently nobody checked this and there was no oversight, but now they've got, multiple editors that will look at this sort of thing. Well, where were the multiple editors looking at the art, for instance? Surely they would be checking to make sure that there was nothing culturally inappropriate, there was no tribal symbols or anything like that from, like, say, Maori people or something like that was inserted in there, or Inuit or anything like that, to make sure that it was culturally sensitive, information or something, or some checking with Scandinavian tribal or religious practices. No, nobody, nothing. So yeah, it makes you wonder. Magic the Gathering, a gaming addiction, yeah. Wallet the opening, wallet the emptying. Maybe Steam will be able to cook up a reliable hosting method. I've already posted on X, on TwitX, what the free way to play D&D. Just play on Discord. You don't have to be on any Wizard of the Coast platform. You can download the books for free. You can download dice loaders for free. You can download, you can access character builders and dungeon drawers and terrain mappers and all of the rule books and all of the dice and all of the hosting platforms. Discord is a perfectly good virtual tabletop platform as it is. Doesn't need any alterations. There's all sorts of bots and stuff that you can download and use that make it a perfectly viable hosting platform. How do I know this? Because I've been playing games on Discord with other Dungeons and Dragons YouTubers for a while. Only rarely do we use things like Roll20. I think we do use Roll20 on occasion, but we don't have to, certainly. And fairly soon, there's a Kickstarter coming along for a product which doesn't use books and dice at all. Let me just pull up my emails here, and I'll talk about it for a second. So it's called Enclave. It's an indie RPG which is coming out on the 8th. The Kickstarter starts up. Talking of Kickstarters, my one for the Silicone Battle Mats, I've got a second Kickstarter which is going for the next 13 days or so. It's very close to being fully funded now. I think we're about 70 or 80%. So it just needs to get kicked over the finish line. And we just dropped the yellow version of the battle mats, but we've still got the white and the grey and all of the same print options and things like that, and also the mystery dice set option. And if we get funded today, so if everybody is like just sort of waiting around, if we go in and get it fully funded today, I'm going to throw in one of the character sheet trackers, the combat trackers, so one of these babies, with every single battle mat that we sell with the Kickstarter. That means you buy a battle mat, you get one of these for free. You get 2 battle mats, you get 2 of these for free. And these are awesome. So awesome. Nigh indestructible. So yeah, go and back that Kickstarter right now. If we're not funded by the end of the day, deal's off. You're going to get one of the character trackers each. Meow. Anyway, yeah, so go and check out Enclave NDTT RPG. That is by Robbie Howell, who's a bit of a creative genius and a charismatic chap. And it's his first RPG that he put out. And it's a game that you can... It's what I think is really the future direction of role-playing games in general. It's certainly not what Wizards of the Coast or any RPG company would want the future of RPGs to be, because you don't need a table, you don't need maps, you don't need dice. You literally just sit there and talk. So it's an RPG system perfectly designed for interactive role-play, where the rules are based around your actual activity as a person in the game. And I really love that. In fact, I've been kind of writing my adventures online, my derailed fantasy, with that kind of gameplay in mind. I say that it's system agnostic, and it can be adapted to any sort of rule system, which it can. It can be the 5th or 6th edition or Pathfinder or Lamentations of the Flame Princess or Dungeon Crawl Classics or what have you. But you can also play it without any books or dice at all, just narrating a story with your friends. And it's the Kickstarter that Robbie's making is a game system which is perfectly designed to do that. So yeah, I'm very interested in it. I'm definitely backing it, and I'm going to be talking about it with him very soon. So I'll be sharing that with you. So yeah, keep an eye out for Enclave, and also go and back my Kickstarter if you can. All right, back to the chat. Where's my chat gone? It's disappeared. I hate it when you do this. You click off it for 5 seconds and everything goes weird. Where are we? Here we are. There's the chat. Whew, sorry. Hey, thanks, Tony. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Have a drink on me for all your hard work. Thank you very much. I'm planning, if the Kickstarter gets funded, to go and buy myself the ingredients to make a Long Island iced tea. And it'll be the first alcoholic beverage I've had for maybe 4 months, 5 months, something like that. Just haven't really interacted socially, and I don't really drink by myself. So, yeah. Hey, Reactionary Principal Gaming with Max Bovin. How's it going, Max? Yeah, exactly. You'll own nothing from Wizards of the Coast. That's the problem. Getting people addicted to a subscription. Yeah. Beginning of the stream rant is always welcome. I'm glad somebody thinks so. Hey, it's Wizards Help Desk. Some Hasbro VP is looking for a good quarter of sales for their bonus. Yeah, so they will sacrifice an entire print run of books. I mean, they've got entire warehouse loads of books sitting there moldering and gathering dust right now. Strixhaven, for instance, it didn't sell very well. And yeah, that didn't do it for them. So they're literally tanking their print products because the digital profits that they can get from selling more digital than physical products, because physical products have got a lot of cost involved when you think about it. Like, they've got to do all the layout and all that sort of thing. They've got to print all these books. They've got to transport all these books. They've got to send them out to distributors. It costs them money to sell those books. It doesn't cost them anything to sell digital. So that's straight up profit. Once they've got the artwork done, and if they can slip some AI, they tried to slip some AI stuff past on you. Got caught with their pants down, went, oops, sorry, and now they're pivoting to oh, we didn't know. We didn't know. Well, let's edit our digital products. See, we can do that because digital products are great. Not those dirty print products. No. So yeah. I've stopped buying and supporting Wizards of the Coast. I don't talk about Wizards of the Coast, generally speaking, but this is something I thought I needed to talk about. Yeah, so as far as existing fan base of people who are used to buying books and stuff, we're just a dead. They've beaten this horse as many times as they can. We're just, they can't squeeze any more blood out of us. So they're just, okay, you're either on board with the digital or we don't care. You're not worth worrying about. Hey, Sinzu. Yeah, all the computer games, all on Steam now. Yeah, they don't have the best license record. Absolutely. Hey, BB. Biggest overall issue seems to be a total lack of respect for the customer, the product, and the artist in exchange for a small amount of more out of control greed and short-sighted sales. Yeah, sales is everything to a corporation. Profit, bottom line, is worth anything. So switching to digital and the profits therein is worth anything, any amount of customer loss to them, because there's always more customers. And if you can get a younger target base audience that are playing digitally online, then they don't care about us old fogies. They do not care. What's an old fogey to them? Anybody over the age of 9 to 14, basically. So, yeah, essentially, those of us who like books are like the physical collector card market. They may put on, they may show up at some conventions and things like that. They'll try and pre-sale us some books, but yeah, they'll just shit on us every single time. That's their MO. It's August 7th there, isn't it? Yep, something like that. The future is grand. Yep, the future's not too bad. It's a bit warm for winter. Don't even get me started. Hello, AJ. Hey, Stormy. I'm convinced they're using AI to order in order to unify their art styles and mitigate the artist's individual styles. Could be. Yeah. Yeah. Insert name here. That's true. Hey, Justin. It's safe to expect questionable intent from a company that has repeatedly proven itself to be loathsome. You got the recommendation during the stream again. Wizard of the Coast is not hiring people based on competency. I don't even know what their hiring policy is. I know that I worked with Wizard of the Coast once, kind of against my will. That was when they took over Took, a Canadian company. That, in fact, a lot of them were Quebecers. Anyway, so Took got taken over when I was working as a writing consultant with them. So they were asking me law questions about Forgotten Realms, and I was being paid to do that. And I pointed out a lot of different things. I came up with a lot of the info that they needed for the Goblin language based on researching Eberron, because Eberron has got a much more developed Googliac language. Also the giant runes and things like that, Scandinavian lore. Also all the lore on the Uthgard barbarians and the Reged barbarians. All of the information on the existing Forgotten Realms lore for the 10 Towns and the Icewind Dale region. All of that, Luskin, and all that information. And then when Wizard of the Coast came on board, they started pumping me for creative writing that was outside of my purview contract as a hired law consultant, and started asking me to write law whole cloth, which I was not comfortable with, because I thought, oh, this could like end up being in their digital books, and then I might make videos about it, and then it not be supported in like official law, because video game law is kind of secondary. And what ended up happening is I was talking about what's underneath Calvin's Cairn being the crash-landed cloud city of Lord Kelvin, who was a cloud giant, who basically had a team of frost giant warriors on board his floating cloud castle thingy. And then that got turned into them asking me all sorts of questions about Netherese architecture and like a crash-landed Netherese sky city. And that got turned into the underground city that you see in the future, the Icewind Dale lore that came out with other products. So, and then also the movie that they put out, which had information about a prison that doesn't exist in the Icewind Dale region. So yeah, no credit whatsoever there. And then my dad got sick, and I was distracted, and I didn't want to do all their writing projects, including all of the lore tablets and all of the history of the orcs in 10 Towns, and So I just said no thank you and walked. And they were quite shocked and surprised that I didn't want to work with the illustrious Mike Mills and Wizard of the Coast. So that happened. Is there any name of me in the writing credits for Dark Alliance? Nope. So, yes, they don't have any respect for artists at all writers, any creatives. We're just a dime a dozen as far as they're concerned, an exploitable income, exploitable resource that they will burn out to their heart's content because there's always another sucker who will work for them. All right. I'm getting behind on the chats here. Hey, Dicey. Hey, Overboard. You back the Playmats, Tony? Thank you. AD&D 2nd Edition had a book specific to Scandinavian culture written by a historian who is also a gamer. The historical reference books have green covers. Yeah. You wish Celesta had a full GM mode. Yeah, that'd be cool. If I rolled a natural 20 and ripped the combat tracker apart, no. Even with my immense strength, I cannot tear apart a silicone sheet. No way. Cheers to the International Dire Halfling Scholar. Thank you, Warrior Womp. That's a great username, Warrior Womp. Metal Milkman, that's also a great name. Evening, folks. yeah. Long Island iced tea is a drink that you do crave. It's 1 part gin, 2 parts white rum, 2 parts silver tequila, 2 parts vodka, 1 part triple sec, 2 shots of sugar syrup or basic syrup, basically a shot of lemon juice, and then cola with ice stirred. And it is 2 of those, and you're happy, very happy. 3 of those, and yeah, you're going to be walking sideways. Hey, HB Hugger. Yeah, Paizo, going forward, actually, the news just in. So the writing group that I've been contributing to the most is we produced the Feywild books through the Veil. So there was like one for NPCs and backgrounds, one for magic items, and one for monsters. And I contributed one for the monsters book, which I was particularly proud of, which is the Oubliette. And I did the forward for the one on magic items. And going forward, we're moving away from 5th edition content, and we're going to do Pathfinder instead for our next book, which is going to be, a very juicy topic. I don't know if I've got any right to talk about it yet, so I'm not going to say anything. But I can confirm that we're going to be moving away from Wizard of the Coast, and that's the sentiment of a lot of writers. We just have lost all love for Dungeons and Dragons from the parent company because they obviously don't give a shit about us. So we don't feel any trust in that company, and we so your resources for it are going to start drying up. All right, let's power read through these comments here. Agent Chaos, hey Billy D. What is the timeline for Paizo to turn into a subscription slaver? Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, if that is where the profits lie, then all companies will have to do that, essentially. But there's ways to go about it which are healthy and robust, I think. Business model prioritizing kids as customers is hilarious for me for things like D&D and comic-related products. There are now multiple generations of adults who grew up with those hobbies. Yeah, for sure. Like, I've played D&D almost my entire life, since the age of 11. And then it's been normal to play all sorts of different role-playing games. It's been very abnormal over the last, almost a decade now to play mostly Dungeons and Dragons, with all the other games relegated so much. And now I think the hobby as a general in general is going, and we're going to swing pretty hard back the other way, where a lot of new RPGs are very exciting for people. There's a lot of rules light, character driven play, and stuff like that. And particularly GMs are just sick and tired of playing 5th edition. We want to do something else, for God's sakes, something. And there's a lot of different options, both classic RPGs that you can get back into, Traveller and Warhammer and Palladium and GURPS and Cypher System and all sorts of stuff, new stuff. And now all the stuff from Free League, Mork Borg, dark fantasy stuff, you know. And of course, Dungeon Crawl Classics is a fantastic game. So that's what we're getting into. Hey, Shakescan. Hey, Aaron Big. Hey, Gravity Fail. This guy is up. Hound Icons, yep. I didn't work on Eberron Elmetra. What I did, hello, by the way. What I did is I researched the lore in Eberron, because they've got more goblin lore, because Eberron, as you know, Corvair was once ruled by a goblin empire. So they have much more robust and detailed goblin language in that book. And so I borrowed that and injected it into the Icewind Dale region goblins and Verbeeg and stuff like that to give them a more robust, because the glossary of actual goblin language was very light in Forgotten Realms, actually. So there was no official, like if you look at the official glossary of goblin words, which are in print and repeated several times, it's very light for Forgotten Realms, like a primitive language, because they're a broken culture. Whereas in Eberron, they were a very robust and developed culture. So Eberron goblins that talk like this, where the Forgotten Realm got him. So yeah, it's quite a stark contrast. So they wanted the goblins to speak in their game, and I wanted to give them some proper language. So I researched Eberron lore instead. So yeah, shout out to Eberron for having much better goblin lore. Hey, Lucas. Cosmeronaut, hello from Alaska. Hey, Alaska. How's it hanging? You'd be swamped in mosquitoes right about now, wouldn't you? No. Late summer, probably not. Hey, Fred. How to RPG? How's it going? Do you have plans to run a game in the future for the Game Master Roundtable discussions? What might it be? Yes, I do. So I'm going to be running a version of the Palladium superheroes game, Heroes Unlimited, with the Tick expansion. This is the sub-minor super abilities. I've done this before, and we did it in essentially a diceless fashion, where it was basically pure narrative. Nobody actually rolled any dice. I think a couple of people rolled dice, but we didn't really need to, because I was running a very big group, and I realized that game mechanics would slow things down too much. So I know the game so well that I didn't really need to roll dice. And you can do that sometimes. If you know a dice, know a role-playing system so well that you know the flow of it, and you don't need the dice anymore. It's like disengage the target manual. Use the Force, Luke. You can roleplay like that. Hell, if you know Magic the Gathering well enough, you can play without the cards. Just, yeah. Me and my friend Wes on a bus trip in Sydney one time played a game of Magic the Gathering without the cards, because we're strange humanoids with brains the size of small moons. You're actually looking at playing the Enemy Within from Cubicle 7 Warhammer Fantasy. It looks really cool. D100 system. I love D100 systems. Yeah, fantastic. I love Warhammer's use of D100 systems. Also, Call of Cthulhu uses D100s as well, or D10s. Mostly you just roll like 1D10. When you think about it, you really only need to worry about the tens, the first digit. So most of the time you only really need to roll 1d10. And if it's on the number, target number, then you roll the second d10 to determine if you like. It's almost like rolling to confirm on old D&D. Hey, Kinnick, thank you. $5 super chat. Half elf. I am darkness, son of the darkness. Your magic missile, my father, prepared to die. Inigo Montoya. I like it. Hello from Texas. How does the new Wizard of the Coast 5e book works? Is it new expansion or an adventure? The one about the plan of travel. It's a Gazetta style expansion of cosmology world play, I suppose. I don't know. I haven't seen the Planescape stuff yet. We're just talking about the Big B's Wallop of Giants, whatever the hell it is. I mean, I haven't even visited the D&D Beyond. I've deleted all the links to D&D Beyond. I didn't bother deleting my account because they made it too difficult to do so, because they were terrified of everybody leaving, so they made it almost impossible to get rid of your subscription. Like, please send a copy of your passport and a sample of your piss, and we'll think about getting rid of your subscription in 6 months because our board of directors is watching. It's like, nah, I'm just not going to visit your website ever again. So it's effectively, I'm cancelling you. I don't have to worry about what information you have on me. So they probably still have all of my content on there unlocked automatically. So I was getting access to all of the books and stuff because I sort of worked for them at one point, and they just unlocked all the access to their books. So I didn't have to pay for anything. I just got access to the books and stuff. That's the only sort of nod they ever gave my channel as a promotion agent for their work, a source for their, somebody who sends loads and loads of customers their way because I produce 700 videos on their content, which, was far more thoroughly researched than anything they produce. But, I haven't visited their website. I haven't seen any of their new products, and I don't care. I don't want to. So I haven't visited D&D Beyond for quite some time. RoboMonkey, unwarranted monopoly backlash, exactly. Age 11 for you too? Erroneous. Nice. Back in 1983. Yeah, it was about around the same time as me. After I saw Mazes and Monsters with Tom Hanks. Really? Wow. Yeah, I'd never really heard of Dungeons and Dragons. I knew about Choose Your Own Adventure books, so I was very much a fan of like Wizard of Firetop, Warlock of Firetop Mountain, and Deathtrap Dungeon, and all that stuff. There were lots of Choose Your Own Adventure books back then. So I had some idea of what a gaming book was about, and then we saw the red box set at Woolworths when I was walking through with my grandmother, and I begged and pleaded, and she paid the $11 for this very light, rattly box, sealed in plastic. She was very dubious about its value. She's like, I don't know, it's not a heavy. This can't be expensive. It's like, what is this? So I don't know, it's a fantasy game. I want it. And she bought it for me. So thanks, Gran. You basically play Call of Cthulhu these days? I like Call of Cthulhu, but not all the time. Morning, Knife. Planescape is a splat book, in your opinion? Yeah. Hey, Tyrese. First time ever checking in on your stream, AJ. I just wanted to say that I sincerely wish that your future endeavors are both successful and enjoyable. Oh, thanks, man. Traveler character creation is my favorite part. Yeah. That's true. I made like 6 characters because it was so fun. Yeah. So in the Traveler role-playing game, the connections that your characters have with each other and the world that they come from, so their backstory, is very extensively role-played out or rolled out in your character creation process. And Traveler is one of those games where you can't play Traveler properly if you make the character by yourself before you get to the game session. So Traveler, from 1980 something or 70 something when it was first written, has rule 0 has session 0 built into the game from the very beginning. So the session 0 concept is in no way new. It's a classic role-playing thing that's been around for a very, very long time. It's just new to Dungeons and Dragons sort of thing. But it's been built into Traveler's gameplay from the very get-go. And in that, you roll up your character's career, whether it's in the Merchant Marines or the Navy, space navy or whatever, their military training and stuff. They can have accidents and things which give them disabilities, or like even blow off a limb or die. They may die in character creation. So you roll up this character's life until they reach the point where they're working together as a team which is operating a spaceship, and that is essentially where you start. So you start every game like you're the crew of the Nostromo on your hauling industrial materials across space, and you have an encounter of some kind. And then you've got to worry about refueling your ship and re-equipping yourself and getting from A to B in the galaxy and unlocking whatever storyline is going on. Quite often it's chasing down your next NPC patron who is paying you to do something. And that's the whole fun of it. But the crew is all integrated and works together. Their backstory is linked together very, very well. And you've got all these backgrounds and resources and all sorts of stuff. I mean, you've probably got a hefty amount of debt from buying a spaceship that you have to pay off. So you've got a good reason to be earning a lot of money through adventures. And the adventures, they don't pay well. So, Traveller is a great game. What was that? Would you fist fight Gary Gygax? What? No. What? You started playing D&D with a neighbor named Nat when you were living in Italy in 1983. Excellent. I do hope you try out Traveller, AJ. It's a great setting. Try out Traveller. My friend, I spent afternoons designing different types of laser gun. My favorite was the shotgun laser. I have lost so many Droin characters and particularly Vargara characters in spaceport fights. Like, did we even get out of the spaceport? I don't know. There was one adventure where there was a Droin ruin of the ancients that we just could not even get inside. And the DM was giving us no clues. So, I played a lot of Traveller, my friend. Western Games Star Wars D6 is good. The expansion never got made for it. So they made a second edition of that rule set, but it never actually happened because the company went out of business because the parent company, which is essentially the family like laundromat business, went under and they couldn't publish any more books because their IP was tied in with that company that went into receivership. So, it was really tragic. But they did actually produce a second version of that rule set, and that's called the D6 system. And it's public access, so you can use it to your heart's content. I looked at that when I was making the Super Atomic RPG, and I'm still making the Super Atomic RPG, but I'm looking at making it much more rules light and a D10 system. See you in a few weeks, Fred. Warhammer Fantasy is a great setting. Mild obsession with playable monsters. Hey, Tyrese. Well, you'll probably like Monsters, which is the successor to Tunnels and Trolls. That's a good game. Rules light, very quick. Don't you remember Mike Mills' statement, if you want lore complexity, it is to gatekeep the hobby? Yeah. Mike Mills is still around in the company. He didn't get fired. He's just out of the public spotlight, but he's still working on the digital front. Yeah, they do want to rewrite all the lore with all the... I did not know that about the Deck of Many Things. Hey, Dragon Lord. Yeah, Mystara's a dead setting, unfortunately, Pyre. Hey, Pyre. Yeah, character creation should be as in-depth. And world building should be a game in and of itself as well. That's how DMs amuse themselves. Nice, Overboard. Can Fireball solve all problems? Yeah, pretty much. What are my thoughts on Cyberpunk? My favorite Cyberpunk setting is actually Rifts by Palladium Books. It does it for me. I wrote quite an extensive bit of lore and resources for the Manasleek Imperium. Not for publication, it was just my own website stuff. But me and this guy, Mark Anthony, who still produces really good digital content to this day, he and I wrote some tables and things like that for Riftsy style expansions. And I was mostly focused on superheroes and the SDC titles of Palladium. But yeah, I wrote some stuff for Rifts, including the Blade Mage, which is a blade wielding, like an Eldritch Knight character class. It's designed mostly for solo play if you're one character and a DM. So made to be a martial class that was very versatile and quite powerful. Kind of like a Jedi. Yeah, that's pretty much the reason why anybody would be playing 5th edition at this point, is just because it's a familiar system and a lot of people play it. It's got a lot of homebrew resources, and it's easy to find a lot of players who play it because it's been dominant for such a long time. So I've got no problem with people playing 5th edition. Certainly, if you want to play, whatever game you want to play, I'm not going to yuck your yum. I'm just saying, I'm not supporting the company, and neither should you. Dark Souls RPG. I wish. Yeah, Twilight 2000 was another version of the Traveller system. Yeah, that's right. I've never actually played Twilight 2000, but Free League's got access to it. Well, they're coming up. There's a new version of Twilight 2000, which is updated for modern times. Kind of feels like we're in a Twilight 2000 situation with the Ukraine-Russia war going on. Just crazy, crazy shit. The Star Trek campaign with a Ferengi captain who hid under the console whenever combat started. All Ferengi are problematic. Imagine Wizards of the Coast going anywhere near Ferengi. Nope. Wrath and Glory 40k system, I don't really know much about it, unfortunately. How to create a 40k plot, though, is pretty easy. Something really bad happens and the locals are in on it, and then you turn up into an absolute shitstorm, and then bullets start flying, essentially. Start grabbing local peasants and torturing information out of them until you get what you need, and then start burninating everybody, and then all the aliens start crawling out of the woodwork, and the place turns to hell in a handbasket. And then aliens arrive from space, and it's all on. And then the Space Marines arrive, and you just basically duck and cover. Duck and weave. Try and get off the planet as quickly as possible. It's Warhammer 40k for you. Yeah, don't feel guilty, just have fun. Play whatever you want. Play whatever you want to. Shotgun lasers, yeah. You absolutely need to perforate everything in that room immediately. Shotgun lasers. I'm familiar with Star Frontiers, but I never actually played it. That's where the Hadozi and stuff come from, by the way. Hey, Chris. Yeah, it was a good weekend. I certainly had fun with the Kickstarter almost funding and then reinstigating the Kickstarter with one product less, so that the production quantity came down from 2,000 to 1,000. Yeah, and we've got the grey sheets and the white sheets for the Kickstarter, and that's going really well. We're about 80% funded now, and if we fund by the end of today, which I hope we will, if all of the previous backers back the new campaign with exactly the same orders, we will have funded within 24 hours, but they're just a little bit slow in moving over to the new Kickstarter. But if we fund by the end of today, I'm going to give a free combat tracker with every battle mat ordered. Up to I think we've got an existing stock of 1,200 combat trackers, these things. These puppies. These are super helpful. Like, you can use these, like, it's got a little grid space down the bottom there, which you can keep track of all sorts of different information, but it's also a good tactical map. It's also translucent, so you can put it over a page. You've got your initiative tracker here, and you've got either a round or ammunition or healing surge or spell slot, like just space up the top for ticking off whatever integrations of iterations of whatever on the top there. And it's super tough. Yeah. Silicone rubber. It's good for the environment, and it's okay for you. It's non-toxic. It's oven safe. You can cook a small amount of cookies or a very thin pizza. Maybe, heat up some, I don't know, whatever you want. Cut your pizza into strips. If you want to cook, it's also good for cooking skull peep in your oven as well. There's also the generic character sheets. Is this the right way up or upside down? Yeah, there we go. Those are also really good for cooking mini pizzas and batches of cookies and stuff. So that's a generic character sheet. We don't have these in the Kickstarter, unfortunately, but you can buy these from D&D WoW, who are our partners over and helping us coordinate with all of the factories and distribution and all that sort of stuff. So D&D WoW does a lot of the legwork over in Shenzhen, where a lot of the manufacturing and stuff is done over in China. And my partner over there, Emily, who I've been working with for years now. And essentially, this is me and Emily are doing the Kickstarter. And by the way, when it comes to the quality checking of the mats, first they get quality checked by the factory, and then the products are shipped out to Mei via a van which drops boxes off at her house. And then she hires local kids to essentially, kids, that sounds awful, local teens and youths and stuff, and people who are also do factory jobs in Shenzhen, because there's a big migrant population there, and they bring their whole families along with them sometimes. Anyway, so she hired local people to be at her house and quality check every single product, check it off the SKUs and all the lists of backers and stuff from Kickstarter, and then the products were physically checked before they were sent out to everyone last time. And that's exactly what we do this time as well. So we hire from the local population there to basically create work and spread the love. So and we've got a good deal on the shipping this time, and we know what the shipping costs are. So as long as we get all of the mats produced by September, we've got a fixed set good price for shipping, and shipping them all out via that way actually reduces our carbon footprint a lot. Because we're not sending like containers and stuff to distribution agents and other places, and then they have to just send them wherever. The goods get sent via air to the specific target location closest to where they're being sent to your house, essentially. And we can do that to anywhere in the world, pretty much the same cost. Do I know any good mech systems? Not really, specifically. I've got no problems with Tomb Annihilation. I thought it was a fairly well-written adventure. Some bits needed a bit more expansion. So more information on the culture of the place where you're adventuring would have been good. More stuff to do in the city. It was just like dinosaur race, rare. Some more NPCs that weren't specifically related to the campaign would have been good, and some more expansions on other encounters and things that you can have in the jungles with like specific undead problems and things would have been better. And of course, more online support for that game. Yeah, well, that's the reason why you get off the planet, Stephen, before they declare exterminatus and hit it with virus bombs and then nuke it from orbit. Wrath and Glory is a 5th edition rule set. The new Imperium Maledictum is the new D100 system. Oh, okay. Full auto shotgun lasers, yeah. Oh, you've got a homebrew Rogue Trader game, Almitra. It's all about getting profit and then escaping the shitstorm, yeah. Always remembered to make time for fun, yeah. Used to play Star Frontiers a lot back in college. One campaign we had a Harry Mudd-style ship merchant who had turned up from time to time, and Rusk with a fake mustache to blend in. Nice. French bread pizza. Yeah, exactly. Pizza toast. So what I do is I save the crust ends from all of my loaves of bread, and then I smear a little bit of Marmite, some tomato paste, good quality tomato paste, a little sugar to cut the paste and stuff together, mixed herbs. I slice up onion and capsicum and fry them a little bit, and then put that on there, and then cheese and some pineapple and ham, because I'm a basic cretin. And then I grill those with a little extra cheese and herbs, and those are my pizza toasts. So there you go. That is a family recipe, and they are good hot or cold. Yeah, dry erase mats. Yeah. Great for one-shots. Excellent. Hey, Koenig, thank you. You're attacked by what looks like a half-dragon. End my misery, screams the half of a dragon leaking fluids out of his missing left side. I did not need to think that this morning. Nerd needs reusable battle mats and character sheets as well as bakeware. Yeah. She hires help to quality control the products. Look, I've got video to show that these are not children that she's hiring. Work harder! I swear. Thanks, Morgan. A dogfight between a dragon and a TIE fighter. Oh, that would be fun. The TIE fighter would whip the dragon's ass. I mean, it's a big flying reptile. They're not that agile. Have you seen what the speed actually translates to in D&D terms? Speed is so broken in D&D. It's so ridiculous. Stanchgate, are you ever going to do more with the rifts? No, I'm absolutely not. I do not support the current regime of Palladium. Not after their Kickstarter scandal. That was a little bit too much for me. I was late to that party, but yeah, I'll support the products, but not the company per se. That's why I haven't interviewed Kevin Simbeda or anything. Basically waiting for him to retire. Retire already, Kevin. So, geez. I'm late, but I'm here. What did I miss? Hey, Palstar. Quite a lot. Looking forward to Kickstarter version 3, by the way. Thank you. Hopefully it'll be fully funded by the end of the day. I've got a pretty good and enticing offer. Like, if everybody funds me by the end of the day, it's battle mats for everybody. When he describes his food, he's a Kiwi. Yeah, a little bit of a... Exactly. Yes, Marmite. Marmite is much better than Vegemite. And yeah. What have you got over in you've got Bovril, I think it is, over in England. And America has got Magna Carta. I don't know. I don't think America has any yeast spreads. Essentially, I mean, it just makes use of the yeast byproduct from the brewing industry. So it's waste not, want not, really. It's perfectly good protein. It's good for you. Capsicum, yes, bell peppers. Sorry. We call them capsicum over here. Terry Pratchett's Discworld has a TTRP version, yes. It's on my shelf right there. It's GURPS, uses GURPS system. And it's good read. Not a huge fan of GURPS, but, Terry Pratchett RPG. I had to buy it. Also, next to that, I have Old School Wizardry, which is the most hilarious book. If you ever get a chance to pick it up and read it, you'll be pissing yourself with laughter. So funny. You can be a duck wizard. A wizard who specializes in ducks. They've got a very good reason for that. Like, if you're an elemental wizard of dirt, you summon, you work with the smallest unit possible of that substance. And so the smallest unit possible of rock is one molecule of silicone, right? So you have to, in order to make a pile of rock, you have to summon all those individual units of silicone atoms. In order to work with ducks, the smallest unit of duck is a duck. So it's much easier to be a duck wizard than it is to be an elemental wizard. You can't fault the logic. And it's fantastic. So you can be a very powerful duck wizard, but all you can do is cast spells and summon ducks. But, I mean, the things that you can do with a duck. Oh, thank you. Kevin Simbeta was on last week, but I know nothing about the scandal or of Palladium really. Oh, he had a Kickstarter for Robotech, and they basically they were underfunded or something went wrong with the distribution, kind of like with COVID-19 and my Kickstarter for Silicone Battle Mats first time around. Basically, the shipping costs spiraled out of control, and I had to pay for that out of any money that I was going to make out of the Kickstarter. So I made nothing, but everybody got their products in the end. But with Kevin, people didn't get their products. So yeah, unfortunately. He's had a bad track record with producing miniatures of any kind, actually. His Rifts miniatures were notoriously bad quality and, yeah, not in good supply. I mean, the company doesn't have a very high profit margin anyway, so he really has difficulty funding that sort of stuff. And, yeah, when he tried Kickstarter, he just failed badly. Legion of Myth. Oh, okay. YouTube channel. Have not heard of them. Mallard Mancy, yeah. That would be particularly good for the what is it? Forbidden Lands, I think it is, has got the Mallards. Or is it Dragonbane? I think Dragonbane's. No, Dragonbane's got the Mallards from Free League. And Free League! Makers of best RPGs. You have Marmite in the UK, Dicey? Good. Nutella. Yes, that would be the American version of Marmite, I suppose. By the way, if you ever want to get yourself better at eating chili, if you find yourself very sensitive to chili, one of the best ways to do that is you have straight up chilies on a peanut butter sandwich, or Nutella also works. What happens is the peanut butter basically protects your mouth from the chili from burning your face off, and then your body reacts to and builds up a tolerance to the capsaicin in the chili inside your digestive system. Your ass is still going to spit fire, but it's a much easier way to build up your tolerance to chili in general. There you go. I am not good at eating chili, never have been and never will be. Yeah, that's true, Kennick. Smallest unit of governments is a household, and the smallest unit is a family. The second smallest is a family. Yeah. Never heard of Free League until this weekend when they won the ENI in 2 categories. Oh yeah, Gen Con. Yeah, no, they've been winning ENIs left, right, and centre all for years now. They're a fantastic company. Swedes, man. Is there anything they can't do? Can they fondue? Yes, they can do. Oh, okay, Max. I might check that out. Thank you. What does Marmite taste like, or what does peanut butter and chili taste like? It's not actually that bad. I don't recommend it as a regular cuisine, but, it's okay. If you take the heat away from chili, it just tastes like sweet peppers, bell peppers and stuff, capsicum. That's why I'm always like, But I mean, New Zealanders are very basic when it comes to chilies and peppers in general, because we just don't have a huge variety of them here. Nothing like the variety that you can get in Mexico and the States. The States really should have a much bigger variety of peppers available to them, and they should have a much larger lexicon of what the different peppers are. Like, there's different names for the fresh or dried version of the same pepper for a good reason, And Mexico has got a lot of them, so hopefully that's slowly percolating through American culture. It should do, because peppers travel well in a dried form, and they'll grow more in more and more regions as the climate changes. So there's some benefits to that. Unfortunately, you get armadillos, wild hogs, and fire ants. Just don't eat poison or even tasty poison. Yeah. Capsaicin is a poison. It's designed to hurt you. It's not a cuisine. It's not a flavor. Hot is not a flavor. Anyway, I think it's probably time for me to hit the road, folks. Thank you very much for the super chats. And yeah, don't buy overpriced, substandard, soon to be removed, crappy shit from Wizards of the Coast. Please. In this modern world, the only power we have is our wallets. So spend your money ethically, morally, effectively, and wisely. See you, Gigi Bear. See you, Torres. See you, Max. See you, Alametra. See you, everybody. Lysander. And Mr. Welch. Nice to see you. I'll be back soon. Don't worry. Stick to mutants and masterminds? Yeah. See you, Wizards Help Desk. The edgiest name. You already spent all your money on a new kitchen, yeah. I'm establishing a garden here at the moment. I'm trying to reuse timber from an old fence. I've got a crowbar behind me on the table. Okay, catch you later, everybody.